So I hope this network will let me do what I want to do. But please, if you are here with me, um, I would like you to indicate in the comment section. Okay, I want to ensure that you can hear clearly before I go ahead. Okay, 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 okay. So if you are joining, please let me know where you are joining from so that we can have this conversation once and for all. Okay. I look forward to seeing your comments. Um, I'll talk about what led to this. I hope this really goes as expected. Otherwise, I would have to do this twice. Probably set up another live, maybe by the time I get home. But let me quickly say something, yeah. So those who are not here yet, whenever you join, please do engage. Do well to engage. Um, this session was triggered by the comments, the post made by Alex Hormozy. So Alex Hormozy is one of the biggest names in the professional development space as well as sales marketing space, and he made a statement: if you are 22 and your peers are talking about work-life balance, you're hanging out with the wrong people. Okay, so I've realized this is this is one of the issues that we have across the world. Even here in Nigeria, where people glamorize suffering and you know romanticize pain. Sometimes I get to ask people, you know, just use this opportunity to take a stock of your life. The way you've been working in the past 1 month, right? The past 1 month, and that 1 month is enough to cause significant harm to your body, right? The way you've been working in the past 1 month, would you consider yourself stressed? Would you consider yourself overwhelmed or overworked? Will you consider yourself or will you consider yourself alive, very much alive? Will you consider yourself healthy with the way you've been working for the past 1 month? Um, and I also ask people this: if a lot of times we talk about toxic work culture, toxic bosses, right? Oh, this boss is toxic, this boss is like this boss is like that, because of the way they are treating you as an employee, right? And I get to ask the question: are we not treating our bodies worse than the way we complain that the toxic bosses, so to say, treat us? Are you not treating your body so harshly? Okay, is your body not a slave to you, pushing all this extents, all these extremes, all these lengths to achieve goals, to make ends meet, to make money, do whatever you want to do? You know, most people don't sleep well, don't eat well, don't drink enough water. They're stressed by every means. They work jobs that they don't love or they don't enjoy. I mean, okay, most people, they are living in environments or countries that are also adding to the stressors. So it's more like, I don't know if I mentioned don't sleep well. Statistically, a lot of people, most of the people don't even sleep. They don't get adequate sleep. They don't sleep on time. You know, they don't keep to proper sleep hygiene. So at the end of the day, you see that we are practically setting our lives up, setting our bodies up, pushing it to an extreme, and expecting. That's the wickedness there. You push your body to all these extremes, and then you still go ahead to expect your body to perform. You expect your body to be healthy. You expect your body to heal. You expect your body to wake you up in the morning, carry you to work, bring you back, climb the pedestrian bridge, come back. You expect your body to do all these functions and do them well. You expect your brain to think, right? You expect your brain to remember things, to remember stuff. You expect your brain to organize ideas. Okay? So, at the end of the day, I would say this: we end up bullying our bodies, we end up doing very scary, terrible things to our bodies and expecting our bodies to give us the best results. And a lot of times you may think that what's going to bring you results is working extra hard, putting extra stress on your body, mortifying the flesh, waking up early, sleeping very late, sleeping less than 3 hours or 4 hours, you know. But one thing I would advise is for every activity that you put your body through, for every activity that you're putting your body through, for every strain or stressor that you're allowing for your body, please just go online and Google, right? Just go and study, look for research. Let me teach you how to research if you find it difficult. If you go online, don't just Google stuff, right? Go and type effects of sleep deprivation, okay? Sleep deprivation or deprivation. So type it on the human body, effects of sleep deprivation on the human body. Look for the definition of sleep deprivation, what it means to not get adequate rest. Okay. Look for effects of dehydration. Okay. Dehydration. What it equally means to not have adequate water in your body generally. Okay. Look out proper diet and nutrition. Proper diet and nutrition. Let me turn this down. So a lot of people do not eat well. Okay? A lot of people do not eat well and they expect their bodies to function optimally. Now, where will your body get the nutrients needed to actually repair optimally? Where will your body get the nutrients required for function? You know, some people who are fond of eating out, eating outside, not eating homemade foods. Some people who are fond of doing that. I have a question for you. Do you know how those people prepare the food that you eat all the time? If you're fond of eating out, and a lot of people too eat junks, right? They eat junks. They take all sorts of nonsense drinks, filled with toxic chemicals that can actually harm your tissues directly. And for those who eat out, eat all those stuff that are made outside. Remember something. My brother said something to me one time, and he said that those who cook for business, who have catering services, who have restaurants and all that, they don't really cook with your health in mind. They cook to make profit. And that makes, like, it hits really hard. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, if someone can um you know find vegetables of, let me say, 50,000 naira to cook a meal that is going to, make him probably 1 million in profit, right? And he's not only buying vegetables, he's buying so many other things, right? He's buying oil, he's buying different things, a lot of other things, right? To prepare that meal. Now, if he can see that another vegetable. It's the same thing, but another one, another type by another person, and they say, oh, this one is 10,000 naira or say 5,000 naira. That's like 100% plus, right? They will go for it. Now, what's the difference between the first and the second? They may not know, right? But what influences their purchase decision is profit and not your health. So there are many other things that influence how people actually deliver their products and you consume them, you know. So a lot of people are still taking a lot of toxins. I was doing a teaching somewhere and I was introducing them to, things that harm our bodies. I mentioned pollutants, I mentioned toxicants, I mentioned intoxicants, I mentioned um, which other one? There are like five of them. So like, what are the pollutants that you know? I also mentioned irritants, right? Irritants. Now, examples of pollutants would be, smoke from different things, from car, vehicles, vehicle exhaust pipes, from different areas. They're burning something around you and all that. Those are pollutants, dust, particles in the air that are not actually, you know, making the air quality index good enough for inhalation for your respiratory system. um, I mentioned toxicants, right? Toxicants are toxic stuff, chemicals, insecticides that you use in your houses, your perfumes, all those things that are actually strange to the body system, strange to your bloodstream, strange to your skin cells. They were not originally designed for direct application on your skin or for direct consumption. You know, the drinks. I don't want to mention any brand here, but some of the drinks that you take in actually contain a lot of toxicants, contain artificial sweeteners that you don't know about. When consumed in larger quantities, can actually damage your cells, and they don't put disclaimers on the bottles or the cans. So all of these things, intoxicants, alcohol, anything that has the ability to actually alter your mental status, you know, can get you intoxicated. Alcohol, smoke of any form, cigarettes or or marijuana, whatever the case may be, right? Some of these things are actually harmful to the brain. Of course, there are scientific researches about the importance of CBD in medical treatments and all that, but those are within medical doses, right? And you may not be able to control the dosage that you take in when you are doing, the smoke and fire thing. So all these things are going on in your bodies, and then the time that you actually have to repair is when you are sleeping or when you are resting, and then from the quality of food that you eat, you know, and then your mental status. But now society is pushing it on us that you should ignore all those things. People are saying you should rest. What have you achieved that you want to go and rest? What have you done? You know, you don't have a car, you don't have a house, you don't have plenty money in your account, you are not on TV stations and whatever, and you want to rest. What have you achieved? That is the toxic ideology or the toxic philosophy of work that we're being pushed on. I mean that is being pushed on us. Very toxic, very toxic way to look at life. People say, oh, one thing must kill a man, this one to that one, this person, after all, these people are doing it, these people are. You don't know what your next door neighbor is going through. That person that you see consistently showing up online, you don't know what they are going through. You don't know what their health looks like. Some of them are probably going to slump tomorrow and go from there. And after all, it's just pictures everywhere. Oh, adieu, gone so soon. That's the most that would happen, you know. And in 2 months, 3 months, they move on to the next person, you know. And I keep telling people, for me, I've made a commitment for myself any kind of success that will take away my health, any kind of success that doesn't put my health into consideration, any kind of success that will warrant me having to harm myself to actually attain, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Maybe some time ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I was all in this. I fed myself with a lot of toxic stuff. Or motivational speaker will come and say you have to sleep only 3 hours. You have to do this. I did all those things. I mean, I did crazy stuff. I was up awake at night. I was completing online course after online course. I was doing so many things, so many things. You know, and I had borrowed that philosophy and I had made it a part of me. And it came to a point I began to internalize that, and I thought that that was all there was to life. I thought it was fun. I thought it was nice. You know, I literally didn't know how to play. I had no. People ask me, "What do you do for fun?" And the only thing in my head is I take online courses and I read books. That's actually fun for me. Yeah, it's fun for me. But it got to a point I had to realize that, man, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. I have seen people get harmed. I have seen people who claim to be work. You try to educate them. Okay, they're coming maybe for their physio and all that, and you're like, oh, you're not sleeping well. When did you sleep last night? Oh, 12 o'clock. I slept by 1 a.m. I was working late into the night. I'm like, you have a medical condition already. You have an issue already. Part of the things that you need to heal better is sleep and rest. You can't continue this way. Okay, so then don't worry, that man would, don't worry. That's how they continue until something happens. They will shut down. Your body is like a machine, right? The way you use the machine will affect its longevity, will affect its durability, will affect its total function. Okay, so many people don't understand this, so they tend to abuse that machine. They tend to abuse it. Thank you very much, Kelvin Jerome Brown. I see you. Thank you very much. So we tend to abuse our bodies and expect it to deliver results. It's going to come to a point. I'll say this sternly. When I speak about things like this, I I don't mince words any longer. People will have arguments with me. Oh, I'm encouraging laziness. I'm encouraging this and that and that. I'm like, to hell with what any other person thinks. To hell with what they think. I can't see truth and hide it. This thing is killing a lot of people. I was at the National Hospital when I came to Abuja for my program at National Hospital, and I realized something. The rate at which there's a transition happening. Younger people are now having non-communicable diseases that used to be reserved for the elderly. In the last 5 6 years, you hardly hear of any young person having chronic kidney disease, any young person below 40 or below 45 having a stroke, having a heart attack. But when I was doing my clinical rotation at the National Hospital, I saw plenty young people having all sorts of conditions. And sometimes when I interact with them, when I converse with these young people, I realize it may not be directly linked to what we think, but this is the pattern. Most times when you look at somebody and see the pattern they have been putting their lives through over 1 month period, you can almost by every certainty predict the disease they are exposing themselves to. You can predict somebody that may have a heart attack in the future, or a cardiac condition, a heart pathology, heart problem, you know, or clinical depression, or anxiety disorders, so many things. Now, let me explain this. There's a complex relationship between the mind and the body. And that's why holistic care is important. That's why you need to take care of your mind, you need to take care of what you eat, you need to take care of your health generally, you need to sleep well, you need to take enough water, all these things are very, very important. You need to ensure that you are taking certain foods. to avoid nutritional deficiencies. You can be well fed. I mean, you can be fat and malnourished. You can be looking good, right? But you're having issues, multiple issues, because there are certain nutritional deficiencies that you're having. There are certain minerals or essential vitamins, that are lacking in the foods that you eat. Now, what a lot of people do in this side of the world, some people, I used to be in that category, so I confess. Morning, bread and tea. Afternoon, rice and stew. Evening, fufu, egusi soup. You know, the next day, morning, rice and beans, rice and stew. Afternoon, fufu and egusi soup. Evening, gari and ogbono soup. You now check at the end of the day, you find out that these people have been rotating around a particular kind of food, around different, a narrow class margin, right? How are they going to get the essential nutrients that their bodies need that are not included in those foods? And then you check what they are eating, the content of what they are eating: rice, starch, semo, starch, fufu, starch, everything starch, starch, carbohydrates, carbohydrates. It's not that carbohydrate is not good, because some people also demonize carbohydrates. It's not what I'm saying, right? Sugars are not even bad. It's processed sugars that are not good for you. Okay, it's refined sugars that are not good for you. Your fruits contain sugar. You know, the rice that you are eating contains a form of sugar. You know, in its simpler forms. Now, there should be a diet percentage to ensure that you're getting the necessary nutrients. You should be taking fruits. You should be taking vegetables, green leafy vegetables. You should be eating eggs. Add more eggs to your diet. You should be, you know, taking natural juices. Cut down on all these fancy drinks everywhere. These things are killing us. These things are killing us. Young people are coming down with chronic kidney disease. For what? For what? Like, why? I remember a long time ago, I said something, and I said, with the kind of things that we are consuming by observation, in the next 10 years, right, which is enough time for those things to actually properly harm the target organs: the kidney, the liver, the brain, the stomach, all that. In the next couple years, the next 5 to 10 years, more young people will be falling for these things. More young people will have strokes. More young people will have chronic kidney disease, will have cardiac pathologies, cardiomyopathies, heart failure. It's a given. It's not, oh, we don't hope for that. Or sometimes we do very stupid things, and then we keep making statements that, like, God will protect us. One thing that will kill a man. Disease not dey kill African man. Very stupid philosophies. One thing must kill a man. You better hope that when that one thing comes, it doesn't kill that man slowly. People think, oh, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do all the work. I'm going to do everything you are doing. You're a lecturer or a teacher. Every work that comes, you grab. Everything that comes, you grab. Everything. Because you are good in doing different things, they want to anoint different things on your head. I've suffered this. I've been there. They want to pour every responsibility that comes. You grab it. I know I will do. Hey, can you do it? Yes, I will do. And at the end of the day, you are thinking that it's just going to go like that. My people will say, Abachi Onano, when you finish dancing, is your lower back. To come and wait for you in your spine. You go to the hill, to the parade or whatever. You go to an occasion and you finish dancing. When you get back home, you feel it. So some of the things that we are doing to our bodies now, we may not receive the direct impact now. It will wait for you in the future. In the future, when you would want to climb the stairs and realize that you no longer can. When you want to go to the restroom to ease yourself and you realize that you've done it on the way. That one thing must kill a man. Huh? That one thing better not be as painful as it could be. Oh, you want to work and make all the money. That's good. That's good. Make the money. Working, making all the money. Let that one thing not take all that money in one day. I know the cost of, the cost of oxygen, using oxygen in a hospital. There's some hospitals that you'll be spending nothing less than 21,000 every day, every single day that you are spending there just for oxygen. I'm not talking about, private. I'm talking about general hospitals. I'm talking about cheap hospitals. You're spending 21,000 every day on oxygen. And let me also say this quickly. We trust the system enough. Sometimes why I'm shocked is that we trust the system enough that we can relegate our lives to the system. You're not taking care of yourself because you think if you fall sick, you can go to a hospital. You go to some hospitals, they won't be light. They will tell you you have to buy fuel first. You say you want to do X-ray, emergency X-ray. They say, oh, their X-ray machine spoiled. You have to go to another place to get the X-ray done and send the report. See, I've seen way too much to not talk. Way too much. And these things are avoidable. Some people in this country have spent up to 500 million naira on treatment of stroke. But you see things online, you don't know. You just assume, oh, uh, well, when that time, when it gets there, da da da. The best and the cheapest form of healthcare is preventive. It's the safest, the cheapest, the best. Preventive. Know what you need to start doing now so that you can prevent certain things. So that when that time comes, you will not be running up and down. People make all the money, they make all the money, right? But one medical condition, in fact, you are just one medical condition away from chronic abject penury, abject poverty. One medical condition. One. By the time you go to do a test and they tell you one blood test is 180,000, one test is 180,000, it may come out negative. Treatment, I've seen treatments that one capsule, one capsule is more than 1 point something million naira. One capsule. One pack. There are three or two capsules inside one pack, one small pack. It's for cardiac. I did a cardiopulmonary conference sometime in 2023. But no, last year. 1 point something million naira for that. And you're not going to take it, it's not just once. So it's not just once. So I pity people who just make assumptions. Oh, this is the time I have to grind. I am young. I have the energy. Somebody was telling me about adrenaline. What do you freaking know about adrenaline? What do you know? What do you think you know about adrenaline? It makes me angry, really. I don't get this emotional discussing certain things, but I've seen too much, and people are making mistakes that can't be avoided. People are making so many mistakes that can't be avoided. I've seen people lose their lives to carelessness. Sleep, you will not sleep. Sleep, you will not sleep. All of a sudden, the blood pressure is complicated, and next thing they are talking about admission. These things are as basic, but people will not heed. We want to work, we want to do so, we want to push and come online and tell people that we are living fine. That's nonsense. All the pressure. Oh, let me show people that I'm doing amazing stuff in my life. Let me go on LinkedIn and post. Let me be consistent. Consistency. All these things are like there are so many toxic patterns that I am seeing amongst the young people of my generation that is hurting a lot of people. So be consistent because consistency. Somebody by 2 a.m. in the middle of the night when you are meant to be sleeping, by 2 a.m. you are waking up to come to your WhatsApp status and type This is the book I am reading by this type of the night. Tell me, what are you doing in by this time? What book are you reading? Or what course? Rubbish. Close that nonsense phone and go and sleep. Sleep deprivation kills. Stress kills. Chronic stress kills. Can introduce you to a lot of chronic illnesses and chronic diseases. I know some of these things by virtue of experience, personal experience. There was a time of my life, yes, I would, I'll answer the question. There was a time of my life I would, you know, do all those things, do everything, take courses, read books, stay awake, and all that, to put myself under so much stress, you know. At that time, I had all the energy, I would do everything, and I'm always trying to. I learned my lessons. I learned my lessons. And at that time, I always defend, oh, sleep less, do this, do all the things that you can do now that you are young. Mm-mm. I'll see this. I made it. I put it in my post yesterday, and I said, "May we not break the cord while trying to make ends meet." This is what I mean. This is what I mean, right? So this is the cord. So you are trying to make this both ends meet this way, right? So let's assume that this cord is actually tied to something. Okay, let me even do that. Okay, so you see, this cord, this is what we try to do a lot of times with our lives. We want to make ends meet, abi? But you are realizing that life was not designed to actually meet certain things. Your life wasn't designed to work under undue stress. You can actually raise it a bit this way, and you know, this is leverage. This is understanding. This is knowledge. This is relationships. The circles that you are penetrating. But when we just keep holding on to toxic teachings from mentors and gurus and guides and coaches who don't even do what they say, somebody will come and say, I work 16 hours every day. I work 12 to 16 hours. I do this one. I do. Go ahead, enjoy. Work 50 hours. But one funny motivational speaker said he wakes up by 3 a.m. Is it 3 a.m. 4 a.m.? Then so that from 3 to 6 a.m. no 3 to 7 a.m. is his first day, something like that. Then this one to this one is his second day, so he has like 2 days or 3 days inside one day. So stack that up in a month, he has 200 and something days. So he's going to kick everybody's butt, like he's going to kick the whole world, he's going to defeat the whole, that kind of mentality, right? Some other people now said, oh, that they, for them, they wake up by 6 a.m., and from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. is their first day. 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. their second day. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. their talk. Since all of us want to start talking rubbish and putting pressure on ourselves, no problem. Me, as I'm talking here, 5 seconds, every second is a new day for me. We are being too toxic. We're overwhelming our bodies. When it starts coming for you, it may be too loud, it may be too hard, it may be too harsh. You may not be prepared to actually battle it. You don't want to spend one day in the ICU. You don't want to spend one day not being able to recognize the people around you or not being able to speak. I have seen people frustrated to the point that they are willing to pay any amount they have, and all the money they have in the world, they are willing to pay if you can guarantee them that they will be fine. Interestingly, sometimes we cannot guarantee you. If not, I would have been a billionaire. Because there are some people that I'll meet, if I can tell them, okay, sir, in 2 days you have your speech back, you'll be walking normally, your movement, your posture will be correct, the pain will just disappear, you will just return how you were exactly. If we can make that promise sometimes, some people will be willing to part with all their properties. I'm telling you this from experience. I have seen such people. They'll be willing to sell their house. Like, let me be poor again, carry all my belongings. That's when you start understanding the value of life, the value of that same life that you've been treating anyhow. So somebody asked, Nemeka Joseph asked, what if I already slept by noon? That's okay. That's completely fine. If you had already slept by noon, you can still, try to catch up. You are looking at a total of 8 hours of active sleep, 8 hours of deep sleep, or let me say 7 hours of deep sleep. So if you slept by noon, I don't like to do that sometimes because whenever I sleep by noon, sleeping at night used to be difficult for me. Sometimes what I do is if I sleep at noon and I'm finding it difficult to sleep at night, I'll just bring a book and start reading. A book that I consider boring, not something that will captivate me as much. I'll bring a book that is boring to me, especially all these ones that contain stories, like The Alchemist. I find that some people will soon get angry. Let me not say, but sure, it's me. There are books that all these books that are filled with stories and stories of how this happened. I just once I pick it up and start reading, I'll fall asleep. Now, um, you should target to have at least 7 hours. At least 7 hours. We're looking at 7 to 9 hours. Yes, 7 to 9 hours. Okay. Anything longer than 9 hours can make you more drowsy. Can actually, be less helpful. Um, and anything less than 7 hours can also weaken you. You won't really have adequate recovery time. For some people, it's relative and it cuts across different age groups, age categories. Now, there's a time that scientifically has been shown that more repair happens in your body. That's the optimal sleep time, optimal sleep cycle duration. Okay, and that is around 11 a.m. to 1:30, 11 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Okay, so you want to ensure that you are asleep by that time. Now, this may not be exactly working for every single human being on earth. But for most people, especially with your location, okay, the way the sun rises and sets and all those things have impact. The impact of light. If you are sleeping, I started being more conscious of turning off the light now before I fall asleep. Before, I can't sleep without light on. But the light on affects, it goes through your eyes. Even when you cover your eyes, it goes through the eyelids. And it can be activating the pineal gland. It can be, there's this gland that controls the sleep wake cycle in your body. And when you have light on, it keeps giving the sensation that you're in daytime. So your body won't really go into very deep sleep to allow you to recover well. So optimal sleep time, usually 11 to to 1:30 or 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. That means by that time you should be asleep. Okay, but even if you don't, for one reason or the other, you're a tech person, you work, you're working with a client in another country, or you're working for an organization in another country, and you have to juggle your time and all that. That's completely fine. Just ensure that you're getting adequate rest, and ensure that when you sleep and wake up, you don't feel lethargic, you don't feel sick when you wake up in the morning. That's also something that a lot of people don't understand. Your working job that is stressing you, you are being stressed by the work you're doing, and you don't have adequate time to rest and recover. So whenever you sleep and then you sleep late and you don't eat healthy, or maybe you eat too late. So when you sleep and you wake up, when you wake up, you still feel like something is pinning you to the bed. And sometimes you want to get up and your body is vibrating. You don't have enough rest. You are squeezing yourself too much. Just you need time to rest. Okay, sometimes you have to take leave off work to prioritize your life. So if you slept by noon, just ensure that the sleep is not too long, maybe 2 hours. You wake up and do what you feel refreshed and all that. Then at night you can walk, you into the night, and then you sleep again. So this is what I also do. Um, this is what I also do. I try to wake up when I want to, you know, except you go to work every day and then you have to wake up earlier, you have to sleep earlier so that you can wake up earlier. But like for me, I wake up when I want to. So if I sleep late, it means I'm going to wake up late. I'm going to wake up late. Okay, so if I sleep by 1 or by 12, my waking up is going to be like 9. It's a given. The alarm, I won't hear it. It ring, but I won't hear it. So just like today, I slept late. I slept by 12. I had a call that went into the night, which is something I don't do any longer. I don't have long calls at night any longer. But I did that yesterday. So today, I woke up by around I think after 7. I woke up around after 7. Tried to get up, I couldn't. I knew. I remember that I wasn't going to work. Um, I wasn't going to work in the morning. I'm here for afternoon. So what did I do? I slept back intentionally. I went back to sleep. I didn't pick up my phones. Just put my head down back and I slept. So when I woke up the second time, I felt freer. My body was like, okay, yeah, we can go. And I went to start doing my stuff. These days I also try to be more intentional about eating in the morning before I leave. Now, this is something I never used to do. I was always the hard guy. I don't eat in the morning, I don't eat breakfast, so I just wake up and boom, I'm out. But I realized something. Some people will come and throw different thoughts and different ideas and different stuff at you on social media in the name of health and medical advice. I realized something. For me, I'm a physiotherapist. My work is energy intensive. I see patients on appointment. They come. I have to do a lot of manual therapy with my hands. I have to do a lot of moving and pulling and dragging and exercise, stretching, and all those things. Then, um, I have to talk a lot. I educate my patients. These things consume a lot of mental energy, right? Consume a lot of glucose from your body. Talking takes just as much energy as physical effort. Thinking takes just as much energy. So all these things put together is a lot of stress for my body. So I need to replenish. So eating in the morning is logical for me. Okay? There are people who have been working their work involves them moving up and down, up and down, up and down. They don't eat in the morning, they don't eat in the afternoon, they only eat when they get back home. They're eating once. It's not as if they're trying to lose weight, they're eating once a day. The body is not getting essential nutrients in there, the body is not recovering because there's no food that's available to convert to resources needed for the tissue repair. Next things, Next thing that will happen is the body starts looking for where to get energy. It begins to break down the muscle, begins to break down the bones. So a lot of these things happen. There's something called REDS, relative energy deficiency syndrome, very common among female athletes. You know, especially those who are not eating properly. And this thing I found out that it can also happen to other people. When your work is more like an athletic game, your work is involving a lot of walking, a lot of talking, a lot of moving up and down, a lot of pushing and pulling and all that, and you're not taking enough food. All these things matter. All these things matter. So um, I would like to average it here so that I can go get other things done. But I would appreciate if I can get any question. Thank you all for participating. Thank you all for joining. I hope to do this more. I hope to do this more. I'm becoming more intentional about educating people when it comes to health because I've realized that a lot of people don't have the right information. If not for people like Doctor of the Future, which I don't agree with some things he says, Aproko Doctor, my man, and who else? This Michael Shreds, and yeah, these are my top recommendations. Um, so if not for what they are doing in this space, it's. I mean, I wonder how people will be getting the right knowledge. I wonder how people will be getting the right information. So I hope to do this more often. If you want to host me on your channel, if you have influence, if you have people, if you have a network of people, educators, coaches, business owners, whatever, if you want me to come and speak or train, right? I'm currently in Abuja. So if you have any projects that you think we can work on together, feel free to involve me. If it's for training, I'll be giving one slot here. I'll be giving out a slot. I'll be available to train your organization for free, right? On health, anything that you want us to, talk about, you can draft an outline, and I'll be available to come and speak to your organization. Especially if you are in Abuja, we can still do online, we can do virtual. If you have something in the works, so reach out. Let me know the details, the number of people that you are expecting, or the number of people who are working with your organization, and all that. Just discuss all those things in details and bring me in when it's time to, talk about the speaker. So let's just get more people into this conversation. Feel free to share this with anybody. Feel free to comment, you know, give feedback and all that. Ask questions under this video so I can pick the questions up and answer in my upcoming videos and all that. So I would really appreciate it. Let's do more in spreading this advocacy, this awareness. Let us stop doing stupid things to our bodies, in the name of working hard or in the name of um, the hustle culture. There are many people that were in that category and they've passed on. I was watching a video recently, a pastor. I loved his preaching, I loved his sermon. It really got to my heart. It really, really got to my heart. And I was like, who is this pastor? Where has he been? I've not been seeing this pastor. And I realized I just started scrolling on Instagram. I picked his name and started scrolling on Instagram and scrolling and scrolling. And I was seeing rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace everywhere, you know. And interestingly, when I saw him, he had very big pot belly, very big pot belly. What men need to also understand is that pot belly is not a good sign at all. It's a sign that heart disease is close, stroke or um, cardiac arrest is close by. It's an indicator of illness. It's a mortality indicator by every description. In fact, heart, what is it called? Abdominal circumference, pot belly, is a better indicator to overweight or obesity than BMI. Okay, so an unhealthy weight, I can look at you and tell whether your weight is unhealthy. So I saw that immediately. I saw him preaching. I was like, I'm concerned though. I'm concerned about this man's belly. Like, is he not doing anything to work on it and all that? I started scrolling on Instagram, and I realized that he has passed. What killed him? Cardiac arrest. And I'm like, such a, a brilliant, spirit-filled preacher, you know, a gift to, obviously, a gift to the world, a gift to the body of Christ generally. And all of a sudden he's gone with all the visions, all the transformation in his head and everything is gone. Why? Health. Sometimes we just can't wish it away. It's by taking steps towards becoming better. Okay? May we not lose our lives in the quest to make a living. If we stick long enough to the plan, to the process, to strategy, to clarity, to structure, to system, to connections and circles, if we stick long enough to the plan that makes sense, we'll definitely get there. The truth of the matter is, some young people who are overwhelming themselves now and all that, in the next few years, your friends are going to be, you know, captains of industries. Your friends are going to be school owners. Your friends are going to be pastors and leaders across every sector. Your friends are going to be country presidents and all that. So, if you look at the thing well and think about it well, right? If you keep growing, you will find yourself in certain circles that you never imagined. But if you decide to finish off yourself, maybe you can make a lot of wealth now and then leave the wealth for your next of kin, then that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay? But if you want to be alive to enjoy the wealth that you are making, you have to please slow down. Take things easy. If you feel like you're overwhelmed, if you feel like you're overdoing, if you feel like no, something is wrong somewhere, please just pause, take a break, go for a checkup or something, check your blood pressure, visit a doctor. If you're having pain or joint aches or whatever, neck pain, see a physiotherapist. Just do something outside of the regular walk that we've been drumming in our ears. Let's get rid of the toxicity. So, yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining. It was nice having you all in my impromptu live session. Yeah, even though I talked a bit about it yesterday. So I look forward to doing this more often. Yeah, look forward to doing it more often. If you have questions, you can put the questions in the comment section. I'll see them. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I can see some people. Hope I can give a shout out. Kelvin Jerome Brown, thank you for always joining. Juliet Obiano Janyamu, thank you for joining. Christy Oderinde, I see you. Vicky Wilson Woko. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in. And Sir Kenneth Chijoke, my namesake. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Udobi Chukwemeka James. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining. Nemeka Joseph. My greetings. My greetings. Invite share workers view and share broadcast. Audience request. Allow the video broadcast. Okay. So yes. That should be all. That should be all for now. We'll have an amazing day. So and I remember that there's a community that I'm building. It's called the Healthy Wealthy Tribe. Sincerely, I've come to a point of my life where I don't even want to build anything else because I've built so many things. But this one is coming from a place of unification, the desire to unify everything, to bring holistic living as a message to people. You can be well. You should be well. You should be taking care of yourself from a holistic perspective. Your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, your physical, financial, spiritual, everything. You know, um, well-being is not just unidirectional. So there's a platform, Healthy World Tribe. Currently, it's free to join. I don't even know what I'm going to do with that in the future. But then it's free to join. Okay, and what I want to do is anybody who is attending my programs, any of these sessions that I do, I can direct them to the community, so that we keep having these conversations and also having other experts in the future joining to share ideas and teach. So that's it. If you want us to work together in any way to promote the message of health to people, feel free to reach out to me. So that should be it. Have an amazing night rest. Imagine night. Where did night rest come from again? I probably want to sleep. Okay, so Victor Olufe, welcome. Good to have you here. Good to have you joining. Thank you very much. So if you watch this as a replay, please do well to engage as well. Um, Let me know how this was for you. Bye.